Welcome to the X-Files. Episode 7. Boundaries. Your new border control. And before you click away, thinking this is another soft, feel-good video about journaling your feelings and lighting candles, let me stop you right there. We are going to talk about something far more powerful than candles. We are going to talk about the invisible electric fence you should have installed around your life approximately 2 relationships ago. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, your terrible decision-making. You are welcome. Now, if you are new here, welcome to the X-Files, the only channel on the internet where we do not help you get your ex back. We perform a full forensic autopsy on what went wrong so that whatever walks through your door next time is something worth opening the door for. We are not here to cry over spilled relationships. We are here to figure out exactly which cabinet the cup fell from, why the cabinet was poorly installed in the first place, and who told you that cabinet was a good idea. Probably your ex. Moving on. This is episode 7 of season 1, The Anatomy of the Aftermath. And today we are covering boundaries. Specifically, we are treating your personal boundaries the way a small nation treats its borders, with documentation, enforcement, and absolutely zero tolerance for people who try to sneak through without declaring their emotional baggage at customs. Let us begin. Here is what nobody tells you about boundaries. Robert Frost, the poet, once wrote that good fences make good neighbors. He was talking about property lines. But psychologically speaking, he was absolutely describing every healthy relationship that has ever existed on this planet. The problem is that somewhere along the way, society convinced us that having boundaries was selfish, cold, unapproachable. That if you truly loved someone, you would remove every wall, dissolve every limit, and essentially become a human buffet where anyone could walk up and take whatever they wanted at any time. Congratulations. That is how you end up exhausted, resentful, and writing long text messages at 2 in the morning. Here is the truth that boundary advocates have been trying to communicate for decades. A boundary is not a wall to keep people out. It is a door with a lock, and you get to decide who has the key. That is it. That is the whole concept. You are not building a fortress. You are building a home with functional doors that actually close. Revolutionary, right? Now let's get into the psychology because this is the X-Files, and we go deeper than surface-level inspiration here. Learning to say no without over-explaining is perhaps one of the most underrated life skills in the entire catalog of human development. And yet most of us have never been taught it. Why? Because we were raised in environments, families, schools, early relationships, where saying no required a full legal brief, 3 witnesses, and a 20-minute apology for the inconvenience of having preferences. So what happened? We became professional over-explainers. Someone asks you to do something that makes you deeply uncomfortable, and instead of simply saying no, you launch into a 7-minute monologue about why you cannot possibly, and you feel terrible about it, and if things were different, you absolutely would, and please do not be upset because you genuinely care so much. And by the end of it, you have somehow agreed to do the thing anyway. Sound familiar? Good. We are healing that today. Here is a psychological concept worth understanding. When you over-explain your boundaries, you are unconsciously communicating that your boundary is up for negotiation. You are essentially inviting the other person to find the loophole in your reasoning. And trust me, the wrong people are very, very good at finding loopholes. The right people? They hear no and they say okay. That is literally the entire test. No is a complete sentence. You can add courtesy. You can add warmth. But do not owe anyone a dissertation on your personal limits. Practice this. Say it in the mirror if you have to. No, that does not work for me. I am not comfortable with that. I need some time for myself. None of those sentences require a follow-up paragraph. The discomfort you feel after saying them without explaining, that is growth. Sit in it. Now, here is where we get practical. Because theory without application is just a really expensive self-help book sitting on your shelf making you feel guilty. How do you spot a boundary pusher early? Specifically, within the first 3 dates. Because here is the uncomfortable reality. People show you exactly who they are very early on. We just tend to be so excited about the potential of someone that we explain away the evidence. Watch for these things. First, unsolicited access. On date 1 or 2, does this person immediately try to know everything? Your password, your location, your every hour of the day whereabouts. Now, interest is flattering. Interrogation is a red flag wearing a cologne you like. There is a difference between someone wanting to know you and someone wanting to catalog you. Second, the dismissal disguised as a joke. You mention something that is important to you, a preference, a limit, a need, and they laugh it off. Call you sensitive. Say you are overthinking it. That is not playful banter. That is someone testing your commitment to your own standards and discovering that with enough social pressure, you will back down. File that information away immediately. Third, the accelerated intimacy play. Within 3 dates, they are already talking about meeting families, exclusive labels, future plans that seem designed less like genuine connection and more like building a structure around you before you have had time to evaluate whether you actually want to be inside it. Emotional flooding early on is not always passion. Sometimes it is a strategy, conscious or not, to skip past the phase where you would normally apply discernment. None of this means you should be paranoid on every date. It means you should stay awake. Stay curious. Observe. A person with healthy boundaries of their own will respect yours naturally. They will not need to test, push, or minimize them. And now for the section that will make the most immediate difference in your actual life, starting tomorrow. Digital boundaries. Because we live in an era where the line between your personal life and someone else's access to it has been almost completely erased. And we have somehow agreed to this arrangement as though it is romantic. Let us talk about social media muting, because it is genuinely one of the most underused tools for emotional self-preservation that exists right now. Muting someone is not mean. It is not passive-aggressive. It is the digital equivalent of not checking your ex's window every time you drive past their house. You are simply removing a source of unnecessary information from your daily intake. You do not need a real-time update on what your ex is doing, eating, wearing, or who they are inexplicably standing next to at a concert. That information does not serve you. Mute is not erase. It is manage. Now, for new relationships, set your digital boundaries early and communicate them like an adult. If you are not comfortable being tagged in photos without permission, say that. If you need personal space that does not include a check-in text every 40 minutes, say that. These conversations are not deal breakers for the right person. They are orientation sessions. You are telling the other person how to successfully be in your life. People who want to be there will listen. Also, and this is not small, review your privacy settings. Who can see your location? Who can look you up by phone number? Who has access to your shared accounts from a previous relationship that you completely forgot to disconnect? We are doing administrative housekeeping on your emotional infrastructure today. Go through your apps this week. Revoke access that no longer makes sense. Your digital space is an extension of your personal space, and it deserves the same intentional protection. Here is the payoff, the thing all of this is actually building toward. The purpose of a boundary is not to keep love out. It is to create a space where real love can actually exist. Because love without limits is not love. It is dependency dressed in romantic language. When you establish clear, consistent boundaries, you do something almost miraculous. You stop attracting people who are drawn to your willingness to sacrifice yourself. And you start attracting people who are drawn to your integrity. The pool gets smaller. The quality gets significantly higher. That is not coincidence. That is design. Good fences make good neighbors. And good boundaries? They make extraordinary partners. This has been episode 7 of the X-Files, Season 1 Boundaries, your new border control. We are building something here, one episode at a time, and you are exactly where you need to be for showing up today. If this hits something for you, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe so you do not miss a single episode of this season, because things are only going to get sharper from here. Share this with one person in your life who desperately needs a border control system installed. And drop a comment below telling me, what is one boundary you are committing to enforce starting this week? I read every single one. We are in this together. See you in episode 8.